Okay, so lately I have really been into solely auditory entertainment, and I've been listening to a lot of music, podcasts, and audiobooks, so I really wanted to share my top 5 favorite audiobooks that I have been listening to these past couple of months. Let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Little afternoon coffee today. I didn't drink coffee this morning, so I can drink this while I'm filming, and I'm already more than halfway through it, So this is another recommendation video. I have basically stopped reading books and now I'm listening to audiobooks. I feel like they're much more engaging for me. I love that I can just listen to them like a podcast. I can just do chores, or I can literally just sit there in silence because they're just so good. So these are 5 audiobooks that I have really enjoyed these past couple of months, and I hope you guys will enjoy as well. Okay, so this book I'm currently reading, it's called 11/22/63. It's a date, so it's November 22nd, 1963. This book deals with time travel, and it's really interesting because there's a lot of like storylines and like time periods they have to keep track of when you're listening to it. But I specifically like this as an audiobook just because like the person who reads out the book does really well in like changing the voices of the characters. You can really tell who's speaking before the sentence finishes, and I love that. It really brings the story to life, and since I'm currently reading it, I don't have like a big plot line of what's going on, but I'm like by chapter 3 or 4, but it's really good. The story starts off in 2001, and then this guy goes back in time to 1963. It's all about going back in time to change an event. So this person can't necessarily like go back to a specific time frame, so they have to wait for a long time for it to happen. When you read the first couple chapters, it really sets the story. So I really recommend this one. No spoilers in the comments if you've read this one because I want to be surprised. So just want to put it in this video because I feel like it's really good. Okay, so this next one is called Dark Matter. It's by the author Blake Crouch. This book completely changed my perception of time and space for like 3 months after I read it. It is so good. I think there's like a movie or a TV show about this, or they're gonna do a movie or TV show. I read something about that, but this, instead of dealing with time travel, it mostly deals with like dimensions. It talks about like alternate dimensions, and this character goes to his life but in alternate dimensions and sees how he didn't marry this woman but he married this other woman instead, or how his kids are different. And I can't explain why he goes to this different dimension because I'll obviously spoil it, but it's so good because it has a lot of plot twists within the last couple of chapters, and you think it's going one way, and by the end of the chapter you're just like shocked at how big this plot twist was. So there's like a bunch of plot twists in the story. It's so good. It's like a slow progression, so at first when you start reading it, it's like really interesting and you think it's like just like a mystery sci-fi thing, but as you keep reading it, it just gets more and more intricate, and it gets really complicated, and the storyline gets really messy. And in order to keep track of the story, you just have to like understand the concepts that the author is trying to explain. I would recommend this to literally anybody. This is so good. It's like top books I've ever read in my life. I'm like a sucker for sci-fi and horror, so I definitely recommend this one if you guys are really into that. But yeah, couldn't recommend it enough. I love this book. You can read it, but I recommend listening to the audiobook version just because it just makes the story more immersive. At least for me it did. So I recommend you guys listen to the audio version and then let me know how you guys found the book. Okay, this one's a classic. This is 1984 by George Orwell. This book came out like in the 50s or 60s, and it was basically a theory of how like 1984 was gonna be like, and how technology really grows on us, and how everybody was gonna be surveillanced, and crazy wars were gonna break out. And I mean, it's not far from the truth. It gives me very much like Hunger Games vibes, where you're trying to root for this character in this like dystopian world. And yeah, it's just really good. It's about this middle-aged man who looks way older than his actual age just because he works at a factory, there's pollution everywhere, and it's not necessarily going well for everybody in society, and everybody's constantly keeping surveillance. It kind of gives like Handmaid's Tale vibe, which is another great book that I recommend you guys read. I actually read this book, but I didn't actually listen to it, and there's a TV show on Hulu that's actually inspired from the book, and it very much gives Handmaid's Tale vibes. So if you've read Handmaid's Tale, it sort of gives that like like imagery with like how the government's always watching and how people can't really fully freely live their lives. They don't have much choice in what they decide to do with their lives. There's very like big strict societal classes, and you just see this character like grow and uncover secrets of the government. And there's a couple plot twists in this one too. But yeah, when I first read this, it very much gave me Handmaid's Tale vibes. So there's also a movie version for this book, and it's a really old movie. I think it also came out like in 1984, but this one's a classic. A lot of people love this one. It's great. I love the audiobook version as well. You guys can read any of these books just like electronically or through audiobooks. They work the same, and yeah, I just read it with the audiobook version, so it's great. I love this one. Okay, I read this one almost a year ago. This one is called The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This book came out in 2020, so it's relatively new, but it is so good. It was a New York bestseller, and it really dives into these twins who grew up wanting to leave the city that they grew up in, and eventually they get out of the city and then they grow apart and have completely different lives. And it's just really interesting how they come together and they rekindle their friendship and realize how much life has passed. And the crazy thing is that they had both lied to their entire families. Their families don't know that they have a twin sister, and it's crazy how they eventually find each other. It really deep dives on the twins' childhood as well as the twins' kids' childhood. There's a lot of like family trauma that they have to go through, and it's just really interesting how this story is written and how it's all put together at the end. It's really satisfying. So I don't want to say anymore because I'll obviously like ruin it, but I definitely recommend listening to the audiobook just because I feel like this is a book, since it has so many characters talking back to each other, it's a lot more engaging listening to it in audiobook version form. It kind of feels like you're watching a movie. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one. And a lot of these audiobook versions are either the same price or cheaper than if you buy it digitally. So at the end of the day, it's just preference. But yeah, I listened to this last summer and it was great. So I definitely recommend this one. So this is the only book that I actually read a couple of years ago, and I just keep rereading it because it's so good, and I don't reread books like at all. This book is actually for advice, so that's why I keep rereading it, because I think it's just like a Bible. I keep going back to it. It's really good. It's called The Actor's Life, A Survival Guide by Jenna Fisher. This book talks about literally everything about the entertainment business, how to persevere, how to keep going, and how to find yourself in better business opportunities, and how to grow your acting career. And I first read it when I was like 17, not knowing much about the industry, wanting to know more, being curious, and I've definitely done more research apart from this book, but I think this is a good starting off point for anyone who wants to start an entertainment business, because it really gives you a lot of perspective on how long it takes and how much perseverance you need to enter the business, and I just found it really intriguing. So if any of you guys are interested in that, either whether you're interested in being a part of the entertainment industry or you're just curious on how the industry works, because like I would be too, I recommend this book. I love the way it's written. It has a lot of information, but as well as a lot of like stories and lessons and motivating speech, and it just has like a jumble of everything, which I love. So I love this book. I definitely recommend it, and let me know if you guys read it because it's one of my favorite books of all time. But definitely the audiobook version is the way to go with this one, because since it's Jenna Fisher herself talking in the audiobook, you really feel like it's very personal. Yeah, the audiobook comes with a downloadable PDF version of like some of the photos that she describes in the book, so it's not like you're left in the dark thinking of how this photo is that she's describing. So there's definitely that. It's free, so you guys can just download it when you get the audiobook. So yeah, those are all of the books. I don't read a crazy amount of books, but I have definitely read other books. But I do have a couple books that I have read on paper, and if you guys want me to do another video of like non-audiobooks that I've read, definitely let me know. Okay everyone, so those are my top 5 favorite audiobooks that I have read in the past couple of months. Hope you guys enjoy my recommendation videos. I have definitely done like playlist recommendations. If you guys listen to any of these books, leave it in the comments below if you guys liked it, or if you're thinking about reading any of these books, or if you had read any of these books. We can have a conversation about the characters, but don't leave any spoilers in the comments, please. Just let me know if you guys want me to do any more recommendation videos in the future. I have done like song and playlist recommendation videos. I have done podcasts. I have done movies and TV shows with Netflix, and now I am doing audiobooks. So if there's any other recommendations you guys want me to do, please leave it in the comments below. I can definitely do Hulu or HBO. There's a bunch of shows and movies that I love on there, so I can definitely do a video about that. But I need you guys to let me know if you guys want me to do that. Just rethinking about some of the videos that I want to do this summer, so definitely let me know. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like this video because that's how you let me know. Subscribe for more videos like these, and hit hit the little bell notification next to the subscribe button so that you get notified every single time I post. I post every single Sunday, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.